Hello, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold. It is November 8th, and boy, we had a crazy day today, and I'm really talking about the cryptos. Let's jump into it because I want to spend most of the time in this video about what happened in crypto world because it's definitely caused there to be a lot of volatility, and I think this is going to have effects on all the other markets. So let's first of all start off with the crypto basket was down 14.5% in one day. Okay, so we saw a huge move down in cryptos. Why did that happen? Well, a crypto exchange, which is also a broker named FTX, which is the second largest exchange, they actually halted withdrawals. Now, what this means is that, let me give you an example that you're going to understand. That's like a bank halting your ability to take the money out of your bank account. Now, if you thought that your bank might do that to you, what would you do? Well, you would go and take out as much of your money as you possibly could before they shut the doors. And that's exactly what happened. So FTX halted withdrawals. And they said, hey, you can no longer get your money because they're having liquidity problems. They are out of money. They are most likely going to go bankrupt. We saw this happen 6 months ago when Celsius was another crypto broker that also had liquidity problems and they went bankrupt. And so this created a run. So basically what happens is other people start to say, oh, well, maybe my bank isn't as safe. And so they go to their bank and they start to take out money. And if there's too much money taken out at once, the bank will freeze withdrawals, which is going to create more of a panic. So that's just what happened today. FTX, they halted withdrawals. And so people said, I want to get my money out of Coinbase. I want to get my money out of Robinhood. I want to get my money out of whatever broker it was. Now, if they had crypto, they had to sell the crypto, turn it into USD or whatever currency they own, and request a withdrawal. So what happened was you saw selling across the board and pretty much all the coins, everything was sold off. And it was because people said, I no longer want to have my money in a crypto broker. It wasn't so much about, hey, I don't really like Bitcoin here. I don't like Ethereum. It was, oh my gosh, I don't want to be frozen out of getting my money out of my account. So I'm going to take it out now. And so they sold the coins they owned and they took the money out. This had ramifications across the board. At one point, the S&P was up 2% today. It was up 2% and it went all the way down to zero. And then actually went negative for a little bit. At the end of the day, we did have a nice recovery. You can see here, when we take a look at the S&P chart, this doesn't look like a big day. It was a slightly up day. As you can see, we made that bottom last week. We've climbed up this week. 3,900 is the near-term target on the S&P 500. So I think we have a little bit more to go there. If you take a look at the world index, they've actually done a little bit better. You can see we are at our last swing high. If we do break above that, we've got another little resistance here at 86. But after that, we've got, nothing until about 90.5 here on the VT. Equities still look pretty good. When we take a look, though, at the cryptos, take a look at the damage of this chart. And I had just turned to being fairly constructive on cryptos. Once we had this little breakout here, we were trading above moving averages. Everything was starting to look good. And this is why we always use protective orders. At any time, at any place, news can come out that we don't expect. And this is why we have protective orders in to where we limit our losses. We take our losses, we move our money off to the side, and we wait for a better opportunity. This chart is broken. In periods of high volatility, you cannot look at a chart and say, well, this should happen, because we're no longer trading on charting and technical analysis. We're trading pure on human emotions and people saying, I need my money out of these brokers now. You can't chart that. And so until things calm down, I think you just have to take a look at cryptos and say, hey, you know what? Way too risky, too dangerous. Don't expect any points on charts to matter. This is now about a liquidity crisis. And so my advice is to stay out of cryptos until things calm down a little bit. We gave the same advice after we saw Celsius collapse in the spring. So same thing here. Just sit out of it for a week or two, let things mellow out. Then we can look for some key points to get back in. The equity markets, as I said, still look okay. We're at a +1. So again, mildly bullish. We do have some big news coming up. We have the US elections. Tonight, we are going to get a few of those results out, but the nature of elections, we've all learned this from the 2020 election, that it's not always done the first night. It's going to be a few days until we really have the results of these elections. Typically, the stock market goes up after elections, no matter who wins. It doesn't matter, because uncertainty has been removed. Anyone who is worried about elections, what if it's this, once it's over, then all of a sudden people say, okay, well, now we know we can put that behind us. So typically speaking, elections are generally positive for equities in the stock market, and I think that's what we're going to get this time as well. The largest gains in the stock market are the years that mid-cycle elections happen. So the 6 months after those elections is typically a very good upcycle. Nothing on Wednesday. So let's talk about what's going to be going on here over the next 2 days. We've got this crypto volatility, but outside of that, the Forex market didn't really do anything today. And we expect that until we get some clarity on the elections, we're not going to move anywhere either. And we have nothing on the calendar. So it really isn't until Thursday that I think we're going to have a good trading market. So let's take a look at some numbers here. We'll take a look at each currency one by one. Here's where we ended the day yesterday. We had all the cryptos at a 0, so basically not showing a buy or a sell. I'm sure that's going to change when we take a look at the charts. But we had the European currencies showing a little bit of outperformance. We had the North American currencies and the yen showing a little bit of weakness, but that was really about it. So when we take a look at the performance of what happened over the past 24 hours, you can see the cryptos just got crushed, absolutely crushed. And who knows where the bottom is on these? We maybe already saw the bottom, at least short term. There could be more. I don't think you want to stick your neck out on this one here. A liquidity crisis. This isn't about a chart. You can't chart a crisis. It's just going to go where it's going to go. So I think you're better off just staying out of cryptos altogether. We take a look over here at foreign exchange here. You can see that outside of the dollar and yen, nothing really happened today. I expected this going into this election. People don't want to pull the trigger until they have the results of the election. We are probably not going to have the results of the election until probably Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So I just don't think we're going to see really a good trading market over the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm definitely looking to stay out and not really looking to make any trades here until the CPI report comes out on Thursday morning. Let's go through the crypto charts pretty quickly here. This is a 4-hour chart, and you can see that this news came out of nowhere. There was no way to predict this news. Now look, I actually heard a few people that they said there's going to be some liquidity problems over the weekend, but they didn't know when exactly it was going to happen. There's just no way to predict these kind of moves. So we have a big move lower, and then we have a little bounce off the bottom. Okay, I don't see any reason to trade any of these. Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, again, they're all just a broken down chart. And I don't think you can count on anything in the charts to tell you where it's going. So let's just go over to Forex. And I want to just show you that right now, Forex is really pretty much neutral here. So we have the dollar that is, our RSI isn't going any lower. We've got parabolic SARS and the EMA a little bit weaker. So, we could put the dollar on a little bit of the weak side. Come over here to the yen. You can see the yen is just flat. Everything in this is saying flat. RSI is around 50 and flattening out. Our 13-period EMA is flat. Everything's flat. So we have dollar slightly weak. We have the yen neutral. We go over here to the Swiss franc. We have neutral. This is completely neutral. We go over to the euro. What else do we have? Oh, we have a little strength here in euro. So the euro is actually the only currency, and I'm going to go down the rest of the list here. The only currency showing that it actually wants to go somewhere right now, and the euro is definitely showing us it wants to move higher at the moment. Let's check in on pound. You can see the pound has flattened out. EMA is flattened out. RSI is flattened out. We come over here to the Canadian dollar. Same thing. EMA is flattened out. RSI is flattened out. You're going to see the Aussie is looking about the same. Everything is just neutral right here, which again is why I just don't think it's a good trading environment here. You know, the Kiwis may be showing a little bit of outperformance, but not much. You can see here, we haven't gone anywhere in about, boy, this is about 40 hours. We just haven't gone anywhere. So when we take a look at the currencies, there's just not a lot going on. If we take a look at the movements, we've got the cryptos. They're all in a -3. They're really nasty right now. We've got, okay, dollar is at a -1, yen's at a 0. We've got pound and Swiss franc are also at a 0, and pretty much everything else is at a 0. The only tradable pair, in my opinion, over the next 24 to 48 hours is the euro dollar, and it's not even a great trade. So since we're here, let's take a look at the only decent looking trade, I think, over the next 24 hours, euro dollar. Here's euro dollar on a 4-hour chart, and I'm going to go to a daily chart just to show you that it still doesn't look like a great setup. The daily chart, you can see we've got a lot of overhead resistance, really right above where we are here. We would expect there to be a little bit of difficulty to get through this area right at here at the 1.008, maybe even 1.1. We're right here at resistance. So we're hitting our head up against resistance. Not a great time to enter on a daily chart. Come down here to a 4-hour chart. You know, definitely showing us that there's some momentum, but same thing. We came up and we hit our head on this resistance level. So I can't even say that euro dollar is a good trade. If we can hold and break above 1.008 or 1.01, okay, you know, I think you can make a case that the euro dollar has more room to run to the upside. But I just don't think you can buy it here. Ultimately, there's really nothing good, and I would highly recommend you just sit out, wait for Thursday when the CPI comes out, and maybe by then we've got some election clarity and the markets are moving. I think that's going to be the best course of action here. To wrap this up, we do think the equity markets are probably more bullish and bearish. We like equities to the upside, but it is just not translating over to Forex, and crypto is just bonkers right now. I don't think you can use any sort of technical analysis. This is going to be purely an emotionally driven market in crypto. So I think you sit out until election results are more clear and until the CPI on Thursday. Look, we always say at Maverick, trade the market in front of you. Not the market you want it to be, not the market you think it should be. The one that's in front of you. And the one that's in front of you right now isn't great. Maybe tomorrow it will be better, but just take some time off, do some other things, and you can come back to trading here in a day or so. Well, that is it for the market recap. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye, everybody.